Hey, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit. I mean, we caught up a couple years ago, but obviously with the Super Bowl coming up, I wanted to talk to you again and just kind of find out, like, first just starting out just from your perspective as a father, seeing your son, ascend to this, to this level and watching what he's done. I mean, and now we're talking about the biggest stage. I mean, what is that like for you?
It's a humbling, experience. I'm just so, proud and happy for him.
Yeah,
I'm proud of him, but I'm happy for him because I understand the hard work that he put in along the way. And and more so right now, and well, not more so, but all the hard work and what it means to him,
yeah.
and so, it's, and one of the things is, two times in 3 years ain't normal,
No, that's
you
not a
know.
lot. Yeah. Especially when you consider a lot of guys don't ever get here at all, and if they're lucky, they get there once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
so, it's a, you know, happy for him and his teammates and, everybody, involved with the organization for, they're back. So
yeah,
hopefully this time, we, and the last one was good and, it was a heck of a game, close and
yeah,
close ain't close enough. So, this time hopefully we're going to feel it, finish it off.
exactly. Hey, and what about you? You just touched on it, the rematch. I mean,
Yeah.
not only is Jalen back, but this rematch is back, second time in 3 years. Uh, you know, what does that say? What in your mind? I mean, like, how exciting is that?
Oh, I mean, I'll say that if they were fortunate enough to come out with a win, it's great to have it against the people that beat you the last time, you know, as opposed, that no matter what, you just want to win. But, to get someone that kept you from it last time, get the rematch, then, that's even add a little sweetness to it, a little extra.
Yeah. Like one of the things I've always been interested in, like I'm a guy from Ohio, so I've always talked about it too, like this whole idea of Texas quarterbacks, and how good they used to be versus where they are now. I mean, like, what does this say? To have this rematch on this stage with two Texas guys who played quarterback in this state as high school kids. What does that say about the level of play and accomplishment in your mind?
It's, it speaks volumes to me for, being a, high school coach, so a member of the THFCA, and to have two young men's, at any time, but have a rematch for the second
Yes.
time when you say both quarterbacks are from the state of Texas. It's just a, it's an honor to be able to call yourself a Texas high school coach. And
Yes.
then for one of the players to happen to be your son, that's just, a little extra.
Yeah, that just puts it over the top. What does this also say? I mean, like, let's just keep it real. I mean, we got two young black quarterbacks, two that have ascended to this level, and for the second time in 3 years. I mean, does that make this even a little more special? I mean, when you talk about just the whole referendum on black quarterbacks in the NFL.
I'd say that it was this time not so much
Okay.
because last time it was the first time.
Right.
So now it ain't the first time. So it's like, you know, I rather the Texas angle than the the black quarterback angle just because, and it's great to see him there. But you figure it was gonna be two. You had 3 out of 4 shot
Yeah.
for it to be two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you had four. Out of the 4 quarterbacks playing last weekend, 3 of them were black quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So that
And,
part, I think the narrative people can try to drive it. I think it's flipped because there are so many talented young men out there playing.
yeah.
You know, and still coming, and of all colors. But it's not like it was before. Like, well, you're a hell of an athlete or whatever, and you don't need to play this position. You got to play something else.
Yeah,
You know, Lamar might win his third MVP, but he wasn't supposed to play quarterback.
exactly, which is crazy. I mean, but and just think, I mean, like the thing that I think, I know I was looking forward to, and I'm a Cleveland guy, so it's hard for me to ever think about rooting for the Baltimore Ravens. But
Yeah,
I wanted to see the opportunity for four of them to have a chance. I mean, but three out of the four was still great. I mean, but it was just like that was incredible to see, the accomplishment there. And I,
yes, definitely.
you know, hey, and I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about just Jalen and just kind of last weekend. I mean, he had a heck of a game, and what was that like for you to see him pull through against a Washington team that was coming,
You know,
and
I think I mean, it was great. Great win. They needed it. I think that Washington is definitely a team that you're gonna have to deal with in the future.
yeah,
You know, I mean, and I love, I know Coach Kingsbury. I know the quarterback coach, which is Brian, who was Jalen's quarterback coach last year, and so I coached him in high school. So I mean, I have the utmost respect for them and what they're doing. And they got a young, talented kid that's going to be around for a while, and he's a problem.
yeah,
He's
he
only
is.
going to get better.
Yeah,
You
he
know,
looks like
as
he
for
looks
the
like a whole.
game, it looked like what?
I said he looks like a whole problem. I mean, that kid
Yeah,
is.
yeah. No, he's real. But as for the game, it's kind of like the last time they played, it was situations and things that happened. He had an unfortunate drop on the back end that would have won it. Had gave up some, and Washington played well. But it was also 20-0 when he was playing.
Yeah,
And so, I look at it from that standpoint. If, he stays on the field, that's probably a different outcome totally because, momentum had changed. And so, that goes back to that, threat of being able to run. When the quarterback can run, it's always a threat because you have to have somebody on defense waiting or, taking a look for him.
yeah,
They call him spying, but yeah.
yeah, definitely. And what about just Jalen's growth? I mean, yeah, and what you've seen and how he's dealt with this season, because obviously this season wasn't always smooth for him, but he persevered and look where he's at now.
It's those things are like about personal challenges. I mean, it's kind of, when if the whole goal is winning, you don't really care how.
Right.
Old ugly better know nothing, as they old folks used to say. And so,
Yes.
it's a deal where he just had, they had their ups and downs. They had a good start early, then they got a little, they had some injuries. A couple of guys was out, and then they came back and they started running the ball and they became really dominant. And so, but they're winning, so just win.
There
And
it
so
is.
then, the ability to do it, it's the ability to answer the phone when it rings. If you needed to do something, you better be ready to show up when it happens. You know, and if not, like you got one game left, I could care less how they win, just win.
Just win it. Yeah, definitely. And speaking of, I mean, you just touched on it. I mean, what's the difference that Saquon has seemed to make in this offense? I mean, there's been a lot made of just how that guy seems like he's just found that fountain of youth or something. But what
Well,
what is that?
he's young. He's
Yeah.
not old. Because he just came off his rookie deal. He got red. He came off the rookie deal. Think he might have got franchised once, maybe. So
Hmm.
I mean, he's still in his 20s. He's not. Derrick Henry's older, and
Right.
so Saquon's not that old. And I think that you know is you got a very talented player that got to play with other talent, and so now you're playing with a really good offensive line. Then you're playing with a quarterback that has the ability, that they would say is a dual threat. So you have to worry about, if he pulls it up. So now you add them together, there are more running opportunities. And he's an excellent running back. I mean, he's just showing the world, he's been healthy, not taking the pounding, and you know, he's showing everybody what he has in the tank, so to say.
Yeah. Hey, what kinds of conversations like during the season do you and Jalen have, especially about just kind of how things are going? I mean, do you guys talk much about that, or is it more just father son type talk?
Yeah, I don't get to coaching, so I don't get into all that. My thing is just making sure he's okay, check on the body, check on the mind. If he asks me something, I'll respond. But just checking on that and being there.
Yeah,
Because it's not like I'm a firm believer. I don't want to say anything that might cloud you know his judgment or say something. He go back and be like, yeah, well, start thinking a certain kind of way. He's a grown man. He's 27 years old, so
right.
you figure it out yourself.
But does some of that come from you being a coach yourself, though? Just understanding how you want to keep his mind clear, and how a player needs his mind kind of clear to be able to focus. Does that come from your background as a coach? I mean, just kind of understanding that.
I say yes. I mean, it's kind of a deal where it's hard to separate coach from dad.
Yeah,
You're gonna be a proud dad, you're gonna be a proud coach, and you're happy for him. The dad part really gets into I worry about your health, mentally, physically, all of that. Try to keep you even keeled, you know, and so that's the most important part with that. As a coach, you're just proud to have a former player that, you watch grow up and go, play that's moved on and is doing this. It just happens to be that player's your son, so it's a little extra to it.
yeah. Can you at all speak to his mindset as he goes into this next challenge? I mean, that's coming up next week.
I mean, I'd imagine he'll attack it the same way he's done all the other ones.
Yeah,
It's the yeah, it's the biggest game of the year, but it's the next game. And so you can't go into it and add more to it. You just have to go in with the same mindset and, go to work.
okay. And then in conclusion, so what are the Hertz family travel plans for the Super Bowl? I mean, how are y'all dealing with that?
Oh, I don't know. I got to figure out when I'm going, but I'll definitely be there to enjoy it. It's
Yeah,
those things. When you get into those things, logistics are totally different than the
yeah.
outside world can think. So it's different, but it'll be, hopefully everyone will be there to support him, and if not, I love watching TV because I can cuss at the TV.
But I'm sure you can do a lot of cussing in that stadium too. Ain't nobody gonna hear you but the folks next to you.
Nah, in the stadium, I had to act like his dad.
Right.
At home, I can be me. So ain't nothing but the walls get it. So I'll be there by myself, so I get the full effect. But nah, I look forward to it. It's gonna be great opportunity, and I just wish him the best. Health, and him and his teammates go out there and get a dub.
All right, cool. Well, no, this is good, Coach. Like I said, I definitely wanted to, get with you and talk to you a little bit about this, and going into it, and because it's exciting for all of us. I mean, and we let Jalen know we're all pulling for him. I mean,
Appreciate
Houston
it. Appreciate it.
Houston want to see him do well, because he's just been a great, upstanding young man. I mean, it's been incredible to watch. It really has.